This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of our investment group, and your host of Tonight with Frank Islam. Today, our guest is Tahir Javed. Tahir, nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming to our show. Tell us a little bit about
Thank you.
yourself for the audience to start with.
Gee, thank you very much for having me. My name is Tahir Javed, and I'm a CEO of Riceland Healthcare, and have got some other businesses along with it. Live in Houston, Texas, and actively involved in politics along with the business side. Yes,
So,
sir.
why did you get engaged in the political activities? How does it, you're a business person who transitioned into the political engagement. Why is it important to be involved in politics?
Well, I'm involved in politics for quite some time. Not practically myself to get into elections, but I was supporting the right candidates for quite some time. And why? Because I had, my opinion that, United States is our country, and we need to make sure that the right people represent us and we have our voice as a minority, as Pakistani Americans, as Muslim Americans, and whatever the different identifications we have. So I made sure for last 25 some years that I always pick the right candidate in the area wherever either it's a judiciary or either it's the Congress or Senate. Now, practically myself getting involved, it just happened recently when I started realizing that our community is big enough and we don't have enough representation who would go and have like for me, I'm an immigrant, I'm Muslim, I'm South Asian or Pakistani, so I did not find anybody practically from my side of the world and my side of the stories to be involved in the Congress. So I decided that I would do that. So that will bring a new idea to a young generation. That down the road there are multiple people will get involved, and one day hopefully we will have one of us getting elected.
So, politics affects our life every day. When the
Yes.
politician makes the decision, it affects us. So, what
Mhm.
you're trying to do uh, is to create a common cause so that we can build a country for all, not just
Mhm.
selected few.
Absolutely.
My question is an important aspect so that you can see it on the table, so you can make sure
Mhm.
your voice are heard, make
Mhm.
sure you can talk to people which affects you and your life and your community's life.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
you were as an entrepreneur. So how was the transition being an entrepreneur to a to political engagement and activities?
Well, I never wanted to run myself, and I'm being very honest and upfront with you. I'm a businessman. I was good at what I was doing. I'm a healthcare provider, and I have done a great work in healthcare arena where elderly population, underserved areas, and geriatric and mental health. These are the specialties. These are the lines I'm working in, and I have done very, I made a difference in the areas. So I wanted to do that, but when I realized that there are certain issues are very dear to us as an different ethnicity, minorities, immigrants. So I realized that when there are issues and I want my friends who are elected in the Congress to go and represent and speak the way I feel it. And I always realize that it's not with the same passion and strength. So you have to have one who lived it to say it right. So I started looking for a candidate who would be an immigrant, first generation immigrant, who understand what are the difficulties we go through to get to this, establish ourselves in the country, and then we participate towards the development of this country. Then still we get discriminated, and we still being, called out that, recently, if you have heard that you have to show your IDs to get the grocery. These are the
Yes,
things.
yes, yes.
then
So
I
you
say,
wanted somebody who could be your spokesperson and who
exactly.
basically have experienced the similar type of environment and life that you have.
Yes, sir.
Um, I know you worked for Hillary Clinton's campaign. Why do you think she lost?
Well, Hillary Clinton's campaign,
She's the most competent politician I ever run for the presidency of the United States.
you talking about Bill Clinton? No, no.
No,
Who
well, both
okay.
Hillary
So
Clinton.
Hillary, I was Congressman Nick Lampson
Uh-huh.
is a vice president, and now he's the COO of my company. So and he was elected 5 times in Congress, and he started talking to me that he's Clinton's good friend, and then he introduced me to Hillary Clinton. We're at my
Okay.
first meeting. Hillary asked me to, he did a great introduction about me, and she asked me to join on the National Finance Committee from the get going. So I said yes, and once I said yes, and then I realized that it was a big task given it to me, that to lead the 5 state of the region of Southwest, and then it took. Next thing I know, that it took like almost 20 months of my life. And then I enjoyed working. I traveled with Secretary Clinton. I did 50 some events for her. I was the person who raised the most money in Southwest region, and learned a lot from her. I spent time with Bill Clinton in their houses. So this is how you, Frank, know it very well, that when you spend with the people of that caliber, you become political before you know that. So this
You're
is
right.
this is what
I
happened.
I I understand, and I am I'm with you 100% on these things. I also work for her, and I think she's the most gifted person that I have known. And we
Yes,
can
sir.
go on and on why she lost, but that's not the part of the conversation you want. Uh,
Right.
I know you ran for the Congress, and
Right.
uh, and you are a Pakistani American. So I have a two
Mm-hmm.
question for you. Do you intend to run again? And what do you think the difference in politics in in Pakistan and United States? And do you see any hope for a democracy and also for the freedom of press under the new government of Imran Khan, Pakistan? Do you have a lot? Do you think they will become the beacon of hope for the democracy all over the world?
I'll start with Imran Khan. Yes, he is the beacon of hope, and at the same time, I would say that Pakistan is the country of youngsters. 60 some percent people are under 35 of age. So the people who have, there's a lot of energy, potential, and they need guidance. And the country can do a lot of good things and develop if there's a good leader. Now, Imran Khan came in this field, and his slogans were, to bring justice to all and develop the country, whatever the resources we have, and eliminate the corruption. So people bought his agendas, people bought his manifesto, and now he's. So I am one of the, I would call the fortunate people who have. Some friendship relationship with Imran Khan. I spoke with him. As a matter of fact, I spoke with him this morning, and and we talked about it. And he is literally has nothing but a passion to develop the country, to bring the country to the level of some certain other nations who are on the similar age of our nation. So my answer, yes, I think we will see a great difference in his tenure, and we will see the Pakistan will get on the right direction. Now, the other question you asked, the difference between the politics of this country and Pakistan. The politics in Pakistan is, one individual to get elected in Pakistan, in having a fair chance on your own personal qualification, on your personal energy and passion. It's a little difficult in Pakistan. You may have a little more chances here to establish, because if you win a primary election, and then you have an equal chance with the other opponent of yours to get elected in. So the primary elections are absolutely individual efforts. There's parties in this country does not participate, and it doesn't affect. Yes, you can get some endorsements, and that these endorsements are equally available. And that, if you know, Frank, Leader Schumer endorsed me, and so many senators and congressmen. I had more endorsements than than my opponent, and but his, her history of 30 years were a little edgy, and
Out,
this is how. Now,
outweighed. Okay.
right. So
How's the people like yourself, Tahir, who's the Pakistani diaspora, can help to take the relationship between Pakistan and United States to the next level? Because you can play a pivotal role, a vital resource you could be to bridge, like, and to make sure that the Pakistan and United States has a better relationship, understand each other. As
well,
Imran Khan said, he
Pakistan,
wants to reset. He wants to reset the relationship between the two countries. And he has been very
right.
critical of Afghanistan, of India, United States being in Afghanistan. He's also been very critical of the drones. So, how do we go about, you as an individual and the Pakistani diaspora community go about resetting the relationship between the two countries?
Okay, well, unfortunately, Imran Khan is not known as much he should have in Washington, D.C. People, there are some misconceptions about him, but what he stands for, and obviously Imran Khan is one of a few leader who I would say not a typical politicians, and they never learn anything from like he started his own party and he is the head of the party. So basically he's learning with his own mistakes. So where he's standing today, this is exactly what he learned with his self teaching process. So people called him pro Taliban, people called him so many other things, and he did have some soft corner for Taliban's, I believe, sometime in back. Then he realized that this is not working, and he opposed them, and then he was 100% with the war on terror with the mainstream, and this is how he changed. So now still in Washington D.C., a big majority of Congress people and senators, they don't understand that. So our community should reach out to these members. And the good thing is Pakistani community is very well aware of Imran Khan. They watch the news every day. They have the access. Now, there's a good thing is Khan has at least thousands of his personal friends from Pakistani community in United States. These guys
Oh,
could talk to him on a phone. So I think from last 70 some years, this is the leader who's reachable by the community living in United States, and anybody else in the past were not accessible. You have to go through so many red tapes, not with Imran Khan. I think this community, what you're talking about, the Pakistani Americans living in United States can play a great role, and the role they have to play is communicate with the elected officials in this country and give them the actual education about Imran Khan in his manifesto, and if possible, connect them. Since he elected, I connected him with several congressmen. Even today, Sheila Jackson Lee made a phone call and had a great conversation at length with him. She showed her interest to visit Pakistan. I think if 20, 30, 40, 50 people who has a relationship, and I understand there's a lot of Pakistani has great relationship with their elected officials, they need to get out of the comfort zone, pick up the phone and call. And honestly, if they don't have a connection, they don't have the right number, they can reach out to me and I can connect them with Imran Khan, and they need to get the elected people to have their education directly from the man.
very well said.
So we will.
I wanted to talk about, I know you are a CEO of a healthcare. What steps have you taken to improve the healthcare? And also, do you believe that the healthcare should be right for the people?
Well,
And
yes.
also, what's going on with Obama healthcare right now?
I am 100% behind and supporter of healthcare for all. I universal healthcare for all, and exactly what Hillary Clinton was talking throughout the 20 month of her campaign, and you are part of that, Frank, and you know that this is health. Why healthcare is important? This is right after food and shelter. This is the basic necessity. We all want to live well. So if loved one is sick in the family, the whole family is in a situation. Now I have seen with my own eyes people doesn't go to doctors because they don't have the co-pays, even though they have the insurances. I have seen and met with people, elderly population, who would skip their medicines in the last few days of every month, or they would make their pills into two. Instead of a pill, they would take half of the dose, only because they don't have $30 of copay to go see the doctor, and they would wait till the next month to go see the doctor. Yes, there are a lot of gaps in between, and it's very unfortunate that the greatest nation on the earth, we don't have absolutely great program for our elderly population. What we're talking about, our parents. So what I have done, I made a nonprofit where we reach out to this geriatric population, and especially if they are our patient, we fill our nonprofit, we pay their co-pays, we reach out and we bring the doctors to their doorstep, we do the home visits, and at the same time, the second portion of second biggest negligence we have is in behavioral health. Behavioral health is so bad, Frank. Today, thousands, forget about everyday people, thousands of veterans are homeless under the bridges only because of their mental situation, and we
Mhm.
unfortunately as a nation doesn't have any program. And this is what we were talking 20-month day, and this was one of my major reason to join Hillary Clinton, to resolve the matters of the people who gave who offered their lives for the country, and who fought for us and stayed in the war zones. And because of staying in the war zone, they have situation with their behavioral health, and now today we don't have any programs for that. So I have started a partially hospitalization program in my area, and I take so many, more than 40% of the people are uninsured who come to my program, and we fund that through my nonprofit. So I'm trying with my personal capacity, with my partners, with my friends, people like you, they shake hand, and they either volunteer the time and the money, and we're trying to fill the gaps as much we can. And that's what we're doing.
And thank you for giving your helping hands to the veterans who serve our country so well. And we have responsibility on our shoulder to take care of themselves, to take care of them.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Trump's policies on Muslims. Is it hurting America? Is it helping America? Do you think America has
Well,
changed in the Trump administration since Trump took it over? And have we become more polarized? Have we become more divided because of this administration?
absolutely, we are divided. That's one simple, straightforward answer. Now, as far as the Muslims, I don't think it's hidden anymore that Donald Trump and his administration and his regime, his main people, his close circle people, they doesn't like anybody but white Americans.
So
So
you think
white
he's a
supremacy
racist?
is
He's a
racist.
racist and a
He
sex.
is
Okay.
he's racist himself, and the core people working under him, majority of them are racist. And if there is not one, they leave him. So with that, not just he's trying to divide us in religions, he's trying to divide us in ethnicity, and he's trying to divide us with whatever other division possibly they can do. You know what, one have said very well, that we cannot say that this is the worst because Donald Trump is still in the office.
So, as I see it, Tahir, he does not represent what America's values, America's characters, America's concepts. He's become polarized, and and that's not what America is all about. We need to bring people together because we are in this together. And
Mhm.
and obviously, his banning of Muslims have also affected the Muslims, but also affected America's economy in terms of not getting people who can come to our shores in the healthcare, be it doctors in the remote area where we cannot get the doctors. Also, the students and faculty in the education area, they cannot come to our country because of the banning. So it has a multiple It has not only direct effort, it has indirect effort as well in our economy. And that's the sad part
Mhm.
of it. Do you
Exactly.
agree with that?
Well, absolutely. Frank, you said it very well. And the one segment you touched, the doctors, we have a huge shortage of doctors today. Now, how you can fill these shortages? We don't have a whole lot of medical colleges where we can produce all what we need in this country. So what we rely on all these years is immigrants. Now, today,
The
the
foreign born
immigration policy
doctor.
foreign border. So immigration, the policy in immigrations are being changed and tough. No, even though I personally know so many doctors. They came here, they finished their residencies, and they can go to work, and then boom, right? They went to meet their families, and they were never come back because due to certain reasons. And not one or two or three dozens of doctors. We trained them, we spent money on them, and then we just deported them. I don't know where we are going right in this direction. We are bringing our gaps are getting bigger and bigger. If we're supposed to have, I believe, 2,500 population should have one doctor, and that is not the ratio we have nationwide. We probably have one doctor for 35 or 3,600 population. So you can tell that it's overloaded for the doctors not to, you can't, even though we have doctors who are spending 60 hours a week, we still have a big shortage. Now, which direction in healthcare they are going, that moving forward, if one is terminal one time for whatever disease, they are trying to stop curing that person and just push them away and let them die 2 months or 3 years from now. This is the policy Donald Trump want to work on it. So you know what, the people who made America, we want them to die sooner than they this is selfish, this is unemotional. I mean, we cannot do that. So tomorrow, basically what he's looking at it, that he himself there should not be Medicare. You know what, they are even talking about, we need to put them on a hospice care, and we don't need to worry about curing and all that, and this is
Uh,
how we want to
and
save.
what about the
This is our
pre-existing medical conditions? Pre-existing medical
reason.
conditions.
You don't give them
I
the
think I
insurances.
think
So
that the Tahir, what you have articulated your thoughts well, and you need to step up and speak out against
right.
all these things that's happening, and I would hope that you're engaging in a conversation with the representative in the House and the Senate, especially those Republicans who are complicit with him, who's there to
Mhm.
advance their agenda, unfortunately. And you need to make sure people go and vote and change, and make sure they make the change. They become a change agent. I want to talk to you
Right.
before we leave our conversation. You have been very politically engaged in terms of not only politics but also civic. What advice do you have for the young people who wants to be involved and engaged, and what do you tell them, especially the Pakistani American who want to be involved in the political and civic engagement activities?
Youngsters, my personal opinion to them is, this is the time. Don't plan your summer vacations for vacation anymore. You need to go out and do internship. My advice is, you will always do your degree fine. You want to become a doctor or engineer, you still need to go and do internship for 30 days with some politicians of your area. And this is how you can do that. Calling Frank Islam, calling Tahir Javed, we connect you with that, and this is how they need to do that. And the reason they want to do it, number one, they will understand it better. Plus, we will make our elected official understand about our community a lot better than what they have today. And I'm sure you agree with me. Majority of them, they don't know us. The only one knows us who has spent a quality time with us. Otherwise, their majority of their education is through Fox News or CNN, and that's not what we want. So let's spend time. And you know what, Frank? I realize my children can represent us better than I can represent us. They grew up here, they went to school here, they have values from this country adopted already, and they can speak the language that our elected officials can understand a lot quicker than they can understand from me and you. And I think this is our next big hope, and I'm glad you asked this question.
So what you're saying to the young generation you must fulfill your responsibility if you want to change. If you want to
And,
change, and you get the government what you deserve if you do not get
mhm,
involved and engage in politics. That's what
you
you're
need to
saying
get
to yeah.
involved.
And go get
Yes,
involved and
yes,
engage
engage
and and
and
and
engage.
and, and make sure go. What do you say,
Engage on
Tahir?
this if they do, if they start doing the internship, let's say, what I would say, if we have 1,000 kids, they every year they do the internship with the right people, I guarantee you that more than 30% will be offered jobs to work with the same, because our kids are very hardworking. Now, this is how you have a permanent place in the lawmaking facilities, in the next, leadership of this country, and this is how we will be understood better on the hill or in the houses.
Very well said. And I want to thank you very much for the wonderful conversation. Do you have any last word to share with our audience before we depart? Okay.
Well, first
Thank
of
you
all,
very
I
much.
mean,
This is Frank.
mhm.
Go ahead, Tahir.
Well, thank you very much. I'm just glad that you took time and called me, and then I'm on your show. I'm your admirer, and you are a role model for us. And it was a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
be on your show. And looking forward to see you soon in DC or
Yes.
anywhere. Yes,
Yes, Tahir, thank you very much for all you do. Thank you for your leadership in the healthcare as well as in politics and civic engagement, and also inspire the young generations so that they can be the best they can be. Thank you very
yes.
much. This
Thank you.
is Frank Islam wishing you a great week. Thank you for watching.